Well, Superman was awesome, and I want to kick James Gunn in the nuts. So here we go. I just saw Superman, whatever they're calling it, Superman 2025. And that's a weird title, but okay. So we're gonna do a basic concept. We're gonna do pretty much the beginning. We're gonna do spoiler free, and then I will put spoiler warning later. But and then we'll critique it, and then I will also give my hot take on what is going on. Or I might do that right now. I don't know. I'm a little fired up. Why am I fired up? All I've been hearing about this movie is that it's either really, really good and it involves everything that's great about our nation and geopolitics and everything that's bad about Trump and everything good that's about freedom and the left. And then you got the right saying that it's woke and that it's got messaging and all that shit. I am done. Fuck you both. Fuck the left. Fuck the right. I don't care. I'm declaring. I know I said Mousepad would stay neutral. This is my version of neutrality. Screw you. Okay? There's nothing woke about it. And it's not about our politics. So the right and the left and the podcasters who fuel that shit, take a chill pill. Humanity needs this movie badly. We are all divided, every single one of us. Superman is supposed to represent humanity. Ironically, that's the story. The whole idea that was in this movie is that about Superman's humanity and us questioning his humanity. It's a beautiful concept. It's a real Superman story. That's the whole purpose of it. Not him fighting monsters. That's literally a joke in the backdrop of the film. I'm not kidding. I know you're all looking at this going, well, he just went off the rails a little bit, because I was expecting stupid scenes, or I was half expecting something that was some sort of subliminal message of some sort of concept that we're experiencing in our own real world. I didn't see that. If you want, you can insert anything into some form of art form. You will find parallels wherever you want to find parallels. Period. Okay? So this was kind of the final draw for me. This isn't me going woke. This isn't me going far right. This is me saying I am so tired of it. I'm done. That's the new. It's not I'm woke. It's not I'm far right. It's I'm done with your shit. Okay? I'm all for the capes. Kapes. I think that's how it's spelled. But the reason I want to kick James Gunn in the nuts is because he started this whole thing. He made a fantastic movie that had great messaging of humanity and love and understanding and responsibilities and pride and ego, everything. It doesn't have to be related to any sort of geopolitics or domestic politics or anything. Go watch it. Please go watch it. It's beautiful. So I will fly him to my house and I will fight him on live TV if need be, because his dumbass decided I'm talking about James Gunn. His dumbass decided to open his mouth afterwards and say, oh yeah, these things that are going here on this political side or this political side, you can look it up yourself, is exactly what Superman's all about. That's the new punk rock. And I'm like, I thought that's what I was going to see when I went to go see the movie, right? I wasn't going there to critique it. I wasn't going there to... I didn't go there with negativity. I honestly wanted to see a Superman movie, and I was like, whatever messaging there is, we'll just ignore it. Where's the messaging? I didn't see it. It's not there. If there is messaging, it's about being human. And it's about the human experience from someone who's not human, who was raised by humans. It has the idea of love, acceptance, being from somebody else, being from somewhere else, having adoptive parents that are your real parents. The goals your biological parents wanted. Okay, now we're going to get into spoilers. So, no, I'm not doing that. Let's talk about why this movie is, I won't say perfect, but it's one of the best comic book movies I'd seen in a long time. Okay, comic books can go a bunch of different routes, right? You can go super serious, you can go very artistic, which I would say um, the newest Batman film did that. I think they did a very good job of going a artistic noir direction. This felt like I went back in time to sitting on the floor at my grandparents' house with a tray of food in front of me that Nana put in front of me and watching Saturday morning cartoons and the Adventures of Superman comes on. It was that. It was fun. It was serious in some places. It was not serious in others. Um, it also did a really good job of making. Here's something that's very hard to do: making Superman not feel overpowered or underpowered. That's a very hard line to do. So if anyone ever has complaints about not really feeling the weight of combat, of it being balanced in a superhero film, especially with Superman, who is, I'm sorry, he is one of the most powerful beings in comic book universes. I literally think, other than Dr. Manhattan, there's not anything that has beaten Superman to a pulp verbatim. Though he has lost fights, he usually comes out on top with just canon comics and all that stuff. But my point is, it's very hard to do a Superman story. It's even harder to do his combat well if they're not Kryptonian. Because if you watch Man of Steel, it's Superman 2, right? Man of Steel is the Kryptonian Zod, and I forget the other two's names, and I am sorry. But they're the villains, and that works because they have the same powers, except they're more militant, right? And so it makes it a lot interesting that he didn't train to fight his own people. In fact, he didn't train to fight, period. So he gets his butt kicked at first. So great. There's good parts and bad parts of that film. There's good parts and bad parts of this film. Um, so look, anyone who's having second guesses about going to see it, go see it. I don't care. I'm not telling you to pirate it. I'm saying, however you can, go see the film. It is 100% worth it. It's 100% worth it. It's so much fun. It really is. It's so much fun. Now we have to get into spoilers because I can't really tell you how much fun it is without breaking this down. All the actors nailed their roles, and I know he's CG, but the dog stole the show. Crypto stole the show for me. It was fantastic. Like, I have a pup. I have two, but mine is Remy, and he is a big, lovable boy who means no harm at all. But he is stubborn, and he's so hard to train, and he's hard to listen. And when you try and give him orders or directions, he kind of doesn't listen until the last second. That was Crypto. And so every time he came onto the scene, I was laughing my butt off. I really was. It was, that killed me. They could have made him just this perfect little canine companion. You know, if Superman's stereotype is the perfect Boy Scout, then Crypto's stereotype is the perfect good boy. He's not. He's a good boy. You see that he really is not mean at all, but he doesn't help half the time, and it's so funny. I'm like, that is such a dog. They nailed it without making him, like, he's loyal. Like, he's loyal. Like, it's not like he's a bad dog. It's just he doesn't sometimes listen. He's too excited and he wants to play and he doesn't quite get that there's something else going on. Very much a dog. So that, like, comedy wise alone, that dog is awesome. Um, and don't worry, the dog's fine. No animals were hurt in the making of this film. My two critiques. We're going to get those out of the way, and they're very easy. I don't like the S. I'm never going to like the S. It's okay. It's fine. I don't know if you could make a worse S. And I'm not saying that as like it's that bad. It's more of I don't have the imagination to make it worse. I think it's just so iconic that I've seen so many different S's on like the emblem on his chest done differently. I don't think this one kind of tops it for being the most boring. That's the best way to describe it. Like the movie is the opposite of boring. His costume, boring as hell. I'm gonna be real. Like it's a little weird. It genuinely does sometimes look like he is wearing underwear on the outside of his uniform, which is hilarious. Like there was like two scenes where there like he has to walk, and I try not to laugh. Like try not to look at his pants. It's the funniest thing. It's like Bon Jovi in the Labyrinth. You can't help it sometimes. So the other thing is, remember, spoilers, Hot Girl is in this. I like Hot Girl. They've done a couple different iterations on Hot Girl, whether it be the CW version, the comic book, the Warner Brothers animated series, which followed more of the comics. Spoiler alert, Aliens also. The CW made it a weird Egyptian, what is it called? When you die and you get reborn again. Oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart. You know what that is. Anyway, Hindus and some Buddhists believe in it. Um, but yeah, it's not like I said. All actors, great job. I will go over that later. But on Hawk Girl, they made her scream like a hawk. It's very weird. I didn't like it. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was. You didn't need to add that. Everything else about her character was fine. Her attitude, the way she fought, the way she moved, actually, I thought it was cool. I thought she added kind of like the brawler. Like if you were to have a D&D party, strange enough, she's the barbarian, right? She just goes in, goes ham, kind of takes a hit and doesn't care. Um, it works. It works very well. I thought from the trailer I was going to hate Green Lantern. You ever have that friend that you almost can't stand? Yeah, that's Green Lantern. He's a good guy, kind of a douche, kind kind of a kind of an ego. And I don't even remember that he was a comic book character, so I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Please correct me in the comments. But it works. It works for this particular story because you can't have a bunch of justice friends be perfect. Um I'm gonna have to look this up because I don't want to get the actor's name wrong. But the person who plays Mr. Terrific, every scene he was in, he nailed it. He nailed the confidence of his technology. He nailed the confidence of his intelligence, but he also nailed being a normal dude. Like, it wasn't stereotypical jargon. It was genuine, like, his attitude comes to light when he's not being super serious and taken off guard. It's really funny and it's very organic. It does not feel forced. You know, when sometimes you'll have a hero that might have a subculture tied to their aesthetic. That's the most I'm going to go into that. And then they will be told in like the directors or the producers, hey, can you say something that's kind of your stereotype? That doesn't happen at all. And I'm so happy it didn't. It's very organic. It's very fun. And I'm sorry that people are probably going to go, well, why did he point that out? Like, because it's a good thing. It's a good. We're moving past that as a being having to do that to appease to an audience that never works. And I'm so happy it's behind us on that one. Um, Lois Lane, fantastic. Uh, no one's ever going to top the original actors of the original Superman. But that's like saying Will Smith can't top Robin Williams in being the genie. It's the same concept. You don't do a comparison because it's not the same thing. Lois Lane portrays herself not as a damsel in distress, but also not a boss. How do I say this? Not a queen boss bitch, right? She doesn't need to put people down to be confident and powerful. She genuinely is confident because she is smart. She is a good reporter through and through, like genuinely smart with her conversations, her questions, her interviews. Jimmy Olsen had a arc. Okay, Jimmy Olsen had a character arc. I'm not kidding. Like, it was really cool how they actually made a lot of these characters that, yes, are famous names but don't have much screen time, actually without padding the runtime or ruining the pacing, the sub characters actually did good. Like, they were genuinely interesting. Okay. They made Jimmy Olsen into kind of this like player who doesn't want to be a player. It's really funny. Like, you have all these girls that are always trying to hit on him, and he's not into it at all. I'm not kidding. Now, I don't know if that was like an inside joke on set or the producers making a like a weird third, like fourth dimensional reference of when there was a, what was it, pink kryptonite, and Superman tried hitting on Jimmy Olsen. I don't know if that was a reference. It wasn't. There was nothing homosexual or sexual about this movie. It wasn't. But it's the most sexual tension that happened in the movie was played off as a gimmick. Was played, not a gimmick, as a joke. Not a bad joke. Genuinely funny jokes. Even the stereotypical Lex Luthor having a dumb bimbo girlfriend was turned on its head. Okay? Because all this time you see her following him around and taking selfies. And you're like, oh yeah, we all know that person. Always has to take a selfie wherever they go. And stereotyped as not always being self aware or not putting her energy to good use or into academia or into something else that's not vanity, right? Spoilers. Her selfies actually create Lex Luthor's downfall. She on purposely took selfies on every single thing he was doing, including maps, documentation, locations. She did it on purpose, and she sent it all to Jimmy Olsen. That couldn't have worked anywhere else. It was so stupid. It looped back on itself to being genius. It was so funny, but worked so well. Like, you could be like, yeah, that actually does make total sense. Like, you can have the personality of bimbo and not be dumb. Like, it's almost like I know I'm not the smartest person in the room, so I'm going to cover my ass. That's the best way I could describe this character. And she did great. She was not on TV. She was not on screen a lot, but when she was, it was always fun, right? Um what else? The I mean, there were some times where, like, I would say some jokes either hit or miss depending on your personality, but I think it's just cinema in general. I think one that really tickled me because it's Mr. Terrific. I'm an IT guy. I like tech. I love Iron Man. I love Spider Man. I love anyone that actually invents things and doesn't just have a power, right? Someone that uses their head and actually creates things to assist them with. There's a scene where Lois Lane and Mr. Terrific, the tech guy, is going to get his ride. It's essentially a sphere UFO that can fly really fast. Awesome, cool. They're going up to it. Old school aviation shutters are opening, and it takes a good, I'd say, 15 seconds for those to open. And even Lois goes, "You have a flying saucer, but you couldn't have a fast door." And Mr. Triffitt goes, "I haven't gotten to that yet." And I was like, oh, I felt that in my soul. There's been so many projects. I'm like, I need to get to that someday. And I never get to it. Stuff like that hits. I don't know if it's going to hit for everybody, but that made me laugh my butt off. So, like, there's so much good about this, and there's so much. Here's where it will get controversial. Okay, and this will be for this next part is for the purists. Okay, This next part's for the Superman purists who Jor-El and I forgot her name. Zor-El? The wife, the mother. Kal-El's father and mother. They've always been like the pinnacle of good Kryptonians, right? Uh and Zod was kind of the representation of the bad side of Krypton. Great. There's nothing wrong with that story. Okay? That's always going to be around. I think that needs to stay around. I don't think this next story should be I don't think this should be canon, but I'm glad it exists. So here's what happens. The beginning of the movie, Superman's hurt. Oh, sorry. We're going to jump real quick. There is one more thing I didn't like, but I don't think there's any other way to do it. The very first scene of Superman is text on a screen. Now, it's not a black screen, it's Antarctica, right? And the end of the text is Superman plummeting into the ice. Great. At least you gave us something to look at. It's describing how metahumans have existed for like 300 years. Superman landed 30 years ago, and he only unveiled himself 3 years ago. And it was like 3 minutes ago he lost a battle, and then you see him land. I don't know how else you would do that. So that's not a it needs to improve. It's genuinely like I didn't like it, but that's just a personal thing. I just wanted to say that, get that out of the way. If anyone goes, well, that was stupid, I'm like, what were they going to do? How would you do that much exposition faster, right? Without just overloading people who some of them haven't never seen a Superman movie at all. Maybe they've seen only things on the CW, and so their concept of a DC universe is the TV version. So I get why they had to do that. Like, it makes total sense. I personally did not like it, but I can't think of a reason, like, of a way to not do that. All right. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, the controversy about this that's for the purists, after Superman falls, Krypto pulls him to his Fortress of Solitude, and he has automatons, robots, that assist him in healing. I like how they do the healing. The fortress literally moves wherever the sun is, almost like an active solar panel that aligns itself wherever the sun's positioned to get the best sunlight. And then they put down multiple giant glass lenses to amplify the light. And it's cool. I think that was really neat. By the way, if you don't know Superman storyline or lore, Yellow Sun not just gives him power, but heals him. Okay. So watch any superhero, like Superman story, that it's always there. Now, during that scene, they put on his parents' message, which is the standard, our world is perishing. We decide to send you to Earth so that you can continue Krypton's legacy and assist them. Great. But then the message glitches. It glitches out. And so it's constantly been told to us, not ham-fisted, but enough to where you don't forget it, that the message was damaged in transit. Spoiler alert, Lex Luthor and friends break in and, strange enough, fix that message. At first, when the message is revealed to the public, Superman goes, Lex tampered with the message. That's not real. It's been doctored to be fake. This is fake news. And Mr. Terrific goes, it's not. That's the real message. The message is the people of Earth are dumb, slow, and ignorant, and they need to be ruled over by a Kryptonian fist. Go have as many babies as possible and have a harem and make a ruling class of half Kryptonian hybrids. Holy crap. Holy crap. I was not ready for that. And I am so happy they did that. That took balls to go way outside the line there. Not in some weird political message that aligns with our actual universe, but something that's actually genuinely interesting, that's different. Like I've seen it done with Batman, where um Thomas, like there was a story where Thomas Wayne had Martha Wayne committed to Arkham, like stuff like that. It it's not canon. It's just kind of like the different versions, right? This is like that. It's like a different version of the story that's not the actual canon story. But I'm glad they did that because it's really it's part of the Superman experience of him finding himself. And in this version, um Clark's dad, what is his first name? Because it's Mr. Kent, and I'm trying to remember his first name. Is it John? I don't think so. Anyway, but Kent Sr. is alive in this one. And he gives a really good, I won't call it a speech, but a loving, not corny line to his son that it's the decisions you make, not what your parents want for you. A parent's only job is to give you the tools to mess up along the way and to be who you really are. And I was like, I was listening for some sort of thing that could be taken the wrong way. Go watch the film. It's a lot of people need to hear that. A lot of people need to hear that. Okay. We are not just like our parents matter, but it's our choices that determine who we are. That's the message. And I love that. And even Superman throws that in Lex's face at the end. That's what makes him human, is that he tries every day to do the right thing and he makes mistakes. He doesn't know what he's doing. And it's not the I love Henry Cavill's line, I'm just a kid. I grew up in Kansas. I'm not there's nothing more American. Superman doesn't have to say that he's American. The dude acts American. He's cocky, he's ham-fisted, he just goes in without thinking, like half-cocked. And I'm like, that's the most American shit. Other than Australians, I don't know anyone else that does that as boldly as us. But it doesn't have to be said. Um, it's actually kind of cool that it's him being American is actually not a controversy of him being American, but him interfering with foreign affairs as a American superhero. Right? They don't know that he's from Kansas. They don't know no one knows where he's from. That's the whole point of the secret identity. But it's very interesting to see how that Kryptonian story changed and how that really affected public perception of Superman for a little bit. Of course, it does the classic, I save more people. People start, asking for help again. They kind of just forget or just say that's not okay. I don't know what is real or not real, but Superman helps people, so I really don't care. Um, it's cool. It's done very well. So, why am I doing this? Well, I was going to start my first review actually on a video game called Prey, and that's going to be a whole thing. It's going to be really neat. You guys are going to love it. If you like Rorschach tests and open-ended concepts and psychological profiling. That was a helicopter flying over. Anyway, but hmm. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But this was the first one I got, like, not teary-eyed, but like happy, overwhelming emotions, but not glee. Just that overwhelming like feeling of hope and goodness of like, yeah, this is what we need. This is the type of, it's not cheesy be a good person. It's we all suck and we are all awesome, and that's okay. It's okay. Let's just try instead of being like letting fear guide us or anger or envy, which is actually a theme of the movie. Uh, it genuinely is good. And then I walked out and I started thinking, and then I became angry, and not dumb rage. I want to hurt somebody. Angry. I got angry for you. I got angry for the viewers because until I saw the movie, I thought, just like many people have thought, just by talking to them, hearing their comments, hearing their discussions, that it was full of messaging. James Gunn is too woke. James Gunn is a rebel. The movie represents something anti-political. The movie is this. The movie is that. And that's why I got angry. Because the movie's not that. The movie is about hope. And that's a Superman story. And that's what I hope for all of you. I hope for happiness. I hope for goodness. And I hope we can let go of what hurts us and we can learn that we are human and others have the choices that they make, and that's not on us. All we can do is what we decide, not others. Lex Luthor, actor did a really good job. Actor did a really good job of being both. It's very hard to play a villain that is both scary and slightly funny. With Joker, I'm not going to say that's easy, but that's kind of the job, right? Lex has to be a terrifying psychopath while also being like, in a weird way, a normal guy. And I don't mean normal as in like your average Joe. I just mean a person that has feelings and makes mistakes and kind of has his own psychopathy, if you will. And that actor nailed it. The writers nailed it by actually writing all these characters out. I was very impressed with that. And his motivations were very Lex Luthor. We are not living up to our fullest because we are reliant on a being that's outside of this earth. Great, cool. It's a little more than that. I don't feel confident enough to actually explain it like the actor did. That's kind of hard for me to do. Go watch the movie. I think I've said that 10 times by now. Everything also kind of added to where this can be sequeled. And not in a cheesy let's make a multiverse to make millions, but like, okay, that's where like you'll see like where portals are, and I'm like, okay, that's where boom tubes come from. Boom tubes are portals, but we'll get to that later. Or not. They obviously they introduced Supergirl at the last minute, which I thought was hilarious. And she's not CW Supergirl. Nothing against that actress. I really mean it. I think she did. The CW is its own thing. In the CW, Arrow is Batman. Okay, it's not real DC. It's D. Let me rephrase that. It's a different universe of DC. It's still DC, but it's not comic accurate to the characters, right? And in the TV series, Supergirl is portrayed as a very well. She's essentially female Superman, and I'm not saying that as a statement. I mean, literally, she is a nice person who wants to help people. That's Superman, right? Just a goofy kid from Kansas that wants to help people. And that's how Supergirl is portrayed in the CW TV show. That is not Supergirl in the comics or TV series, or I mean, in the cartoon or anything else. Supergirl didn't show up here as a baby. Supergirl showed up here as an old teenager and was like, okay, why do I care about these people? My cousin cares about these people, and so I won't destroy it. I'll be careful, and I won't make things worse for him, but I don't care. And she is literally the rebel, and I love that. And she showed up at the end, and she goes to party on planets with red suns because she wants to get drunk, and yellow suns were so powerful we absorb the energy and we heal before we can get drunk. And I'm like, oh my god, she's punk rock. That's so funny. Yeah, I was like, yes, 100%. She doesn't care about Earth. Absolutely. I would love to see a Supergirl movie if they kept that character arc, right? Where they made her. I'm not looking for her to all of a sudden be nice at the end, but for her to have her own story, right? Uh, Maybe one of acceptance of grief or something of that nature would be neat. They could just I mean, there's even rumors that the gentleman who plays Flash in the CW actually might be the Flash in this universe. I think he fits it. I think he fits that vibe. I think it would work to have Barry Allen in this universe. It's already over the top. Like, there's a scene where Lois and Clark are literally in an apartment with, like, I'm talking on the 50th floor of a skyscraper, and they're just having this chat, and the camera is facing them. The backdrop is a giant window frame that goes out into the skyline of Metropolis. At night, there is an interdimensional being fought against by Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and Hawk Girl. And that's the backdrop. It, like, that's what I mean. Like, it's so fun. It's so funny how they don't need to focus on combat, but when they do, it works. It genuinely does work. Spoilers on this part also. I one time mentioned that Man of Steel combat worked because it was Kryptonians. There is someone with Kryptonian powers in the bad guys team, right? On Lex Luthor's team. He does not steal the show. He doesn't. And the other one, who is actually a nanobot tech type maker, like whatever weapon she wants to make can do it, and also she's just a bunch of nanites. Um, who is human, is just as, actually, I would say almost more lethal. And it kind of made sense because I was going, oh, well, how does this work? How is Superman going to get out of this? They really do a number on him, like genuinely so. I was like, this makes sense. This makes sense how he took damage. I'm not going to get into that. You guys can watch it. I don't want to spoil the whole thing. I'm not going to go into every little detail. I will say this, though. The one with Kryptonian powers that was on Lex's team, how you would think Superman versus Superman, it shouldn't be, it should be sort of an even fight, but it's not. And that's because Lex actually creates, and they even use exposition very fast and very well, I might add. They use exposition to show that Lex has been studying Superman for years and has developed a combat system, as in, like, A35 is different than B16 on, like, different moves, like you're playing Mortal Kombat. And he gives these moves with essentially communications to the one with Kryptonian powers that's beating on Superman, so that he will hit Superman perfectly every time. It's actually really well done. It's kind of scary because it's Lex Luthor's brain, who does have genius intellect. Like, let's not downplay. He's not just a rich dude that's an ass. He is a genius in his own regards. He is, if I may, and I'm a Slytherin, but he is Slytherin to a core. He is, I am going to self-improve to the extent of being near perfect, right? That is Lex Luthor. He is the ambition side of Slytherin to a nutshell. Anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, it's a Harry Potter thing. Sorry, you're gonna have to look that up yourselves. But to have his intellect actually be channeled into someone with Superman's strength and powers, that's terrifying. That's like, it's Homelander from The Boys, but take away the psychopath, but leave the sociopath. It's scary. It's genuinely scary. Without being like darkness scary. It's scary as a concept, not like, oh my gosh, that was terrifying to look at. So I don't know what I'm gonna do here. I don't know, you know. I'm still angry, and I would love to interview the actors, because God, they did a good job. They did a fantastic job. Every single one of them did a great job. And James Gunn made a good movie. He's a good director. But dude, I'm not telling you to stay in your lane, because every person is allowed to speak their mind. But you, by trying to make things better because of your political views, actually took away something that could have helped everyone and made peace with everybody. But you couldn't help yourself, could you? And now I'm speaking to all content creators. Stop it. Stop fueling the fire. I know things are bad on everybody. Everybody's hurting, and that's why things are crazy. The only Superman that's going to save us is us. Think about that. It's been real, everyone. I love you all. I hope you all do good. Remember, live easy, keep it cheesy. Fox out.
A Mousepad production. Please like and subscribe. Our links are in the description of this content. Thank you.